So here's the drawing just with a quick live paint and some gradient, nothing major. Here it is prior to the gradient, still a live paint. And here it is with the brush, just the outline. And speed it up a little bit so you can see the three pieces. I just going over the drawing, there's the pen and ink. The drawing has some brushes, and the idea is if you set the brushes out, you can make a stroke brush mark. And in the brushes, there's an artistic one that has a point on either end, and you can select the profile and the thickness and just create a stroke on the side. And essentially you can use that as a palette of brushes, or you can just pick them as you're using them right on your drawing, and just, if you like one that's thin and you make a stroke, you can create that stroke, and then if you want it to be thicker, just adjust it. You'll get a thicker line, and then if you ever want to go back to the thinner stroke, just select it with the command key to change to the arrow, and it'll get you selected, and you can swap the brushes out that way. A quick way to do that. And again, the profile or the size has a setting, and while you're in the brush tool, you can click on the command key to get the direct selection tool, and that'll allow you to toggle between some of the tools just to keep it a little easier workflow so you can keep moving along. Because once you get used to doing it, you want to keep a piece. I zoom in so you can really get a look to it, and again, you can slow it down, but there's end caps, lines, strokes, everything becomes pretty articulate when you get going, and it gives you some nice strokes. Again, it's going pretty fast. And some that you may not be able to get with a traditional brush, but that's my point, is that you're working back and forth between traditional material as well as the digital, so it's giving you some opportunities to fluctuate. So here's where I just use the direct selection to adjust the points and handles on the anchor points, and you can move it across and pretty much get it aligned, and then try to anticipate that the image is closed shape, there's no gaps, but you can modify that in the live paint. It's just a little bit easier to try to do it ahead of time. So once I have it, I'll make a copy of it. Here's the layers, so I can duplicate it, move these brushes over, and then once I have that, I can just make any shape, rectangular shape, and convert it to an artboard. And then here's the pieces. So once this has the paths taken outlines, the live paint checking the gaps, make sure they're big, and then using the live paint tool to just kind of break it down, get some color choices in there. So let's take a look. So you have the lines. It has some thin and thick articulated strokes to it. So here's the swatches panel. So just move that open, separate it so you can see it. The color guide is just picking the color and giving you tints and tones, which is tints and shades, the values of the colors that you choose quickly, and then you can always adjust them. So just placing them in there, making a little elliptical highlight, maybe change its color just to see what it looks like, and using the Pathfinder to make a little crescent highlight. Duplicate this guy, and then go back in, and with the direct selection tool you can click on it, go into the gradients panel, and just grabbing some gradients that are close to that color just to give it a tint and a tone. You can always modify it later with other color methods of coloring, but a quick way to get it all set up.